You dirty rat bastards, my name's Aaron. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to the show. It's Whoop Wednesday, god damn it. That's why I'm in a good mood. No, I was just out touching women. That's why I'm in a good mood. Wednesday nights are West Coast swing nights at Wicked Westy. What's up, friends? Tonight, we take a look at some more flight footage from these two dirty rat bastards. These are basically Mobula 7 ELRS 1S ZIZ with motor swaps, different propellers, BT 2.0, different antenna, ORT Micro V. The things that matter are that BT 2.0 swap and motor swap. One of them is on RCinpower 0703 27000s. The other one is on VCI 0802.8 27000s. Which do you think you were just watching? Which one of these do you think that you were watching in the little intro there? There's a the eagle-eyed among you will be able to figure it out. There's a huge clue. I think there's a huge clue. I'm not sure if you guys can see it through the live stream or not. But type in the chat VCI or RCinpower. VCI is an 0803. RCinpower is an 0703. Let's see. Let's see what you guys think. See if anybody can kind of figure it out. Tonight we're going to do Q&A as we always do. We're going to explore these two and we're going to fly them. I got 4 batteries, 450 mAh 1S batteries on the charger ready to go. So we'll fly them around the house like lunatics and talk about it. Are they the ultimate 75mm analog rig motor? Does anybody know why? Towards the end of the intro, there's the reason why was there. What else? I don't know. That's it. That's what we're doing tonight. What's up, Chad? FPV Toast, Cloud Hopper, Curtis Hayes, Doubles FPV, Rob Axelson, Mick Mucus, Frank Nicholas, Scotty Scott, Danzel, The Terrible Smoking Dog Cujo, James Thomas, Spaceman Spiff, Levi FPV, King Dingalang, Northern Tier, Douglas 6, Mick Mucus, Witch Cat is an interesting YouTube name, Curtis Hayes, Danzel, The Terrible, James Thomas, Rob Axelson, 661 FPV, Curtis Hayes. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming. Everybody's saying RCinpower. You're all wrong. The clue was all the jello. Could you guys see the jello? It's actually not even jello. It's just like massive vibrations. it's just a ton of vibrations on this rig here with the VCI 0803s on it. These VCI 0803s, I've put a bunch of batteries through, and so I've crashed a bunch, and now the 1mm motor shafts are all bent to hell, which is putting a ton of vibrations into the FPV feed, and it's shaking so hard that it's just like blurry. Like, there were times that I was flying where I could barely see where I was going because it was vibrating so hard, and everything was like smearing all over the place because I was flying towards sunset. Yeah, the RCinpowers are like kind of brand new. Although within 4 batteries of flying these, they started to already get beat up, and the 1mm motor shaft started to bend up, and I started to get core temperature warnings and other nonsense. So yeah, kind of sucks. They both fly phenomenal. Like the flight characteristics with either one of these motors, and these HQ ultra fragile but also ultra light 1.6-inch biblades is fantastic. These fly so good, but the problem is runtime. I'm only getting like a little bit over 2 minutes of runtime out of these, and as we've been discussing recently, like, that is really hard on the batteries. Like, if you run a battery down on a quad from fully charged to dead in 2 minutes, that battery is getting its ass kicked, and that battery is going to get really hot, and it's not going to last very long. And so yeah, as much as I love the way that both of these motors perform, they are too tall and not wide enough to stay cool. The 802 IGAO 27,000 kV motors, yes, they're still only 8 millimeters wide, but they're only 2 millimeters tall. So you've got that 4-to-1 ratio, and like, because of the fact that it's only 2 millimeters tall, it doesn't make enough power to generate enough heat to become inefficient. These two motors, 0802.8, which we're just going to start calling 0803, okay? 83369, that's like a 2.66, I guess it would be, to 1 ratio. Not good enough. 703.369, that's a 2.33 width to 1 ratio. Not high enough. Both of these motors suffer with that same problem when you push them hard. I'm super interested to see how these do inside the house. I think these are both going to be completely fine inside the house because we're not going to be nose down wailing around outside. Let me play some more flight footage for you guys of these two. I'm going to play, so at the beginning of the stream, that was the VCI 0803s. I'm going to play another file from them, I think. Let me turn the audio on for a second here and make sure. Hey, look at that. Beautiful OSD. Yo, I had the full FPV experience today. Right. OSD not working, like, just all kinds of annoyances. All right, let's see.
All right, let's try this again. 0802.8.
Yep.
The new
All right, so yeah, 0802.8s. Here you guys go. I'm just going to play this while I talk over it. Just want to make sure that that was coming through. So yeah, these are the 0802.8s. I hope that you can see the vibrations that are happening there. There's a spot in the throttle where it vibrates like crazy. It's a little bit above the hover point. So like at one point I'm just like cruising down the little gutter run. And I really like could barely see where I was going. I also like for no reason it was on rate profile too. So I had so many weird problems today. It was super strange, super frustrating day. Trying to get these two things up. These were two. This is one brand new X12 and another pretty much new X12. And so I put them on the Betaflight 0.5. Got everything dumped in there, and yeah, I mean, it should have been so much smoother than it actually is. Hey, tell me in the chat, can you guys see the vibrations? Can you guys see at some point, like, for example, it was just there it is, and it's good. It comes and it goes. Every once in a while, it stays. John says, yeah. Lewis, okay, so you guys can see it. All right, cool. So I don't have to, like, yeah, look at that. Look how bad that is. Oh my God, it's so bad sometimes. It would appear that it is 28% throttle where that's happening. Yeah, 29% throttle is where that's happening. And yeah, it's just from these motors being a little bit beat up. Like, here's the thing though, I probably only have like 20 batteries on these motors, but like, look how good it flies. Already getting a low battery warning. So yeah, these motors are fantastic. I love their weight. I love the amount of power that they make. But they are getting too hot, and then they're getting inefficient, and they're just eating these 1S 450s. And if you go up to a 1S 550, look at how bad that is. If you go up to a 550, that battery is so heavy, and you're going to really lose like this performance. Like, these rigs fly great on these 1S 450 folded cell batteries. Like, this is the right battery for it. But like, this flight style of like putting the nose down and bombing around the yard, it's not it. Like, it's not a good match for these motors. If you don't care about 2-minute and 15-second run times, and or your battery's getting their ass kicked, and there we go with another core temperature warning, even on a 12 amp AIO, right, which is outrageous, but these motors make great power. I will absolutely say that. Both of these motors make incredible power on these HQ ultralight 1.6 inch spy blades. I'm so happy with the way that they actually fly. It's just like, from a weird logistical or whatever standpoint, it's just, yeah, it just doesn't work. You're gonna annihilate all your batteries. If you want something, so what is this?
0703.
Here's an 0703 battery. Well, a little bit of an 0703 battery probably. I'm willing to bet that this is when the OSD was not working. Yeah, so this is when I didn't have OSD. But this is the first battery that I flew on the 0703s. So RCinpower 0703, 27,000 kV motors. Something weird was happening. I think there was actually too much filtering. So you're going to see some like weird jitters and strangeness. That went away as soon as I removed some of the filtering. Having too much filtering is just as much of a problem sometimes as having too little filtering. It's a little bit of a different problem, but yeah, you got to have the right amount of filtering. You can't have too much, you can't have too little. Right around now is when I realized that I don't have OSD, and I'm like, well, I can fly a little bit more, but I don't want to hurt this battery not having OSD. It was because it was set to HD for whatever reason. Betaflight's got some really weird bugs right now that we've been seeing lately. Super strange. A bunch of super strange things in Betaflight right now. I mean, none of them are really the end of the world. They're just super annoying. So yeah, here's the 0703s. Very, very similar flight characteristics. Little tiny bit lighter, still great power. They are, because they are even taller, and well, they are. They're 0.2, they're 0.2 of a millimeter taller, and then they are 1 millimeter less wide. They're even harder on the batteries, because they're just getting even hotter, right? They're a taller motor. They still make good power, right? Like 803 versus 703. That 3 millimeter height really, really does make great power, but they just hammer the hell out of the batteries. Let's play another. I think this is the 0703s again. This is me getting really frustrated.
Dude. Power.
Teddy was also being a bastard today.
RCinpower.
There we go. Cool. So this is the second battery I put through the. You guys will actually get to watch these RCinpower motors. So that was just the very first battery I ever flew on them, I think. This is the second battery. You guys are going to get to see the crashes that bend the motor shafts on these motors to the point where I start to get core temperature warnings in the fourth battery that I fly on them. The whole 1 mil shaft thing. And like, there's a bunch of people that say, oh, well, you know, if it's not a happy model motor, the 1 millimeter shafts are plenty strong. Bullshit. 4 batteries and these RCinpower, and everybody says, oh yeah, the RCinpower ones are the strongest. No, absolute nonsense. I did not crash this thing hard once, and these motors are already starting to get ruined. So absolute bollocks to 1 millimeter motor shafts being enough. The people that are saying that, surprise, surprise, right in your eyes, are the people that don't fly or they don't crash. And it drives me so insane that those people are saying, oh yeah, this is durable. Like, how do you not know? Like, how do you not know that you don't fly hard and that you don't crash? And then you go on fucking Facebook and you tell hundreds, if not thousands of people, oh yeah, they're plenty durable. Like, that is maddening. Seriously, never, ever, ever, ever listen to any of the advice on Facebook, guys. Like, over the past couple of years, I've paid really close attention and like looked at Facebook replies when I go on there, and sort of like what I'm paying attention to is how often people give dead ass wrong information. And like, I'm not kidding. There's no reason for me to say this other than it being true. It is more than 50% that people are dead ass wrong on Facebook. Do not listen to anyone on there that you haven't like vetted by going to their page or hunting them down on YouTube and seeing how good of a pilot they are, right? That's going to tell you how long they've been flying, whether or not they actually crash ever, right? Sometimes that can be a little bit hard because a lot of people will edit it out. But yeah, you'll be able to get a good feel for it. You guys are smart. But I mean, the easy button is just to not get any of your info from Facebook, because it's just, yeah, I mean, you have a better chance getting the wrong answer there than the right answer. And that's insane. Like, that's absolutely insane. Here we go with some core temperature jams. Look at how long this... So, like, the core temperature is up there because it was sitting on the ground, but look how long it took for it to get below 158. It was sitting there at 158 for, like, a worrying amount of time. And so here we go. This is battery number 3 with the RCinpower 703s. I haven't changed any filtering, any PIDs, any of that kind of stuff. The PIDs are really not even all that aggressive at this point. Like, it flies all right, but I could still easily get it to prop wash. So, like, I would love to be... So there's a crash. Not a very hard one, but a crash nonetheless. You guys are literally getting to see all of the crashes that have already hurt these 703 RCinpower motors. Here's one. I mean, that's a hit, right? I mean, it's a hit to like a plastic garbage can. I'm not like dropping it into the concrete or anything, but like, that's a legitimate crash, sure. I'll cop to that being an actual hit. But like, yeah, I mean, there was not a single crash that I was like, oh my god, these motors are fucked now. So yeah, make your own mind up. Like you're getting to see it, all of it. I'm not gonna hide anything. Not that I have a reason to, right? Like I love RCinpower motors. I would love for either one of these motors to be good enough. You can actually there you go. You can actually already start to see the vibrations happening and the blurriness going on. It's not as bad as the VCI motors, but it wasn't there a minute ago. This is the third battery on these motors, maybe the fourth. There's a chance that I flew one battery on these motors a couple of weeks ago. I'm not totally sure, but this is a pretty fresh set of motors. And I did change the propellers out. I spun before I flew this. I spun the motors up, and here's the other problem. 2 minutes and 11 seconds, and the battery is all the way down to 360. The lowest the battery was 350, was all the way down to sagging down to 315. Like, could you fly this battery a little tiny bit more? Maybe, sure, but like, you're just going to start to hurt it. Like, look, it's bouncing back 363, 364, 365. This battery will not bounce back to 3.8. If I'm lucky, it'll get to 3.7. So I mean, that's a battery that's pretty dead. And like the motors are sagging it like crazy. And now here's the I believe this is the last battery I flew on it. You can see some of the vibrations, and now you're going to start to see some core temperature shit popping up from the vibrations from those couple of crashes. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, in order for what the hell? In order for these motors to be realistic, even if you're willing to deal with the lack of runtime, really, they're going to need to come out with a version of them that's got a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft. The 1 mil motor shaft is just not enough. There's a crash, but like, come on, that's not like, I have certainly not abused these motors, and they're just, yeah, I don't know, man. Very, very frustrating. Because the flight characteristics are awesome. Like these two rigs fly so good. These motors have like way more grunt than the 0802s. And then way more grunt than the 0802s and the 1002s and the 1102s. This is how I want these rigs to fly, but the motor shafts are too small and they just gobble up the battery when you fly it like this. And so this is so frustrating. I mean, I guess, like, I mean, look, the IGAO motors fly pretty good on these analog builds. I'm pretty happy with them. This ruins me though. Like, flying these with these motors, it's like, oh my god, it like, this is it. Like, this is what I want. And the IGAO motors are not quite here. The 1002 and the 1102 22,000 kV motors, they don't fly anything like this. I mean, I prefer the IGAO motors to the 1002s and the 1102s, unless I'm just out bombing around. So yeah, like this is the flight performance that I want so bad, but we're just, no, like, this is not the way. If they make either one of these motors with a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft, I might be willing to just kind of like suck up the runtime. The core temperature was getting really bad now at the end of this battery. Yeah, like, I might be willing to take the hit on the runtime with the 1.5 mil shaft, because it at least like, hey, peace and love FPV. Thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, keep doing what you're doing, man. We're lucky to have you. Thank you, man. That's super cool of you to say. Super chat in the weed number. Yeah, I'm usually willing to overlook like one massive pain in the ass, but two pains in the ass, it's like, it's not. No, no, I'm not. I can't overlook that. It's too much. Runtime and like shit runtime and they're fragile. No, and like the shit runtime, I'm much more willing to overlook than them being fragile. The fragile thing is just obnoxious. On one hand, like this is why I keep the motor plugs so that it's easy to replace these. But like, dude, I killed these RCinpower motors in 4 or 5 batteries, and there weren't any really hard hits. Like that's ridiculous. That's gonna be like a fresh motor every time I go out and fly, right? Because like I usually go out and fly like 5 or 6 batteries, and then I have to come in and replace one of the motors. Fuck that. No way, dude. The VCI motors did seem to hold up a little bit better. I'm probably like maybe 30 or 40 batteries into these, but these are also in way worse shape than the RCinpower motors. So no, like it's so painful. I'm like I'm I'm very. This makes me so sad, man. We've got these motors that like that have the right flight performance, but the runtime's definitely an issue. And like I wasn't even pushing that hard. Like I still have the up tilt pretty low on both of these. And I'm still in this like kind of feel them out and like don't totally destroy them. Like if I were to spend more time on these motors, I would start flying way more nose down, and that would be eating the battery in like a minute 50, a minute 40, maybe even a minute 30. So like, brutal, man, brutal. So yeah, I mean, the Jungle Gym Basher formula is still the iGao 802 27,000s. They have the best mix of durability, flight performance, runtime. I mean, those are really the three. Those are the three big things. They fly great. They feel great. They're. I like. I kind of wish that I hadn't tested these motors. You know what I mean? Like by testing these motors, it's like, oh my god, with a little bit more flight performance, it's so good. But like, we can't have that. Oh god, I don't know, man. I don't know. If either one of these motor manufacturers make these motors with a 1.5 mil motor shaft, I will absolutely test the shit out of them to see how durable they actually are. I'm super curious to see someone else's 1.5 millimeter. Well, no, I can't say that because like there's Flywoo 1002s with the 1.5 mil motor shaft, which is bomb proof. RCinpower 1002s with the 1.5 mil motor shaft, it's totally bomb proof. But the happymodel 1.5 mil motor shafts are bomb proof too. So like, yeah, a durable version of these motors would be fascinating. That would really kind of like test my ability to put up with really short run times. Because man, do these fly good. But I'm taking both of these apart. There's no reason for these to be together. Because the motor shafts are going to get even worse and the runtime kind of sucks. Like the freestyle 75 millimeter rig is going to be the one with the iGao motors, which is, I don't even think it's put together. Actually, these are, yeah, no, I'm gonna pull both of these apart and put them back onto 802 27,000s, 30,000s, maybe even 33,000s. I meant to say 802 just now. I hope I said 802, not 702. Because yeah, that's the right setup. I am so sad about all this. I'm like heartbroken. We'll fly a couple batteries here tonight around the house with these, because these are especially with these propellers, these are shockingly good inside the house. They do crash hard. And like, I'm not gonna leave these together to fly them around the house. The 75 millimeter inside the house thing is a bad idea, in my opinion, if you have any belongings that are remotely valuable, because these things just hit hard. Like when a 65 millimeter rig hits something, it makes like that kind of a noise, like a slap. When these hit something inside, it's like, I guess there's not much of a difference there, but you know what I mean? Like it's like that. It's more like a thump, and you thump something glass really hard, and like you are knocking that shit over, and then it's possibly smashing on the ground. And I ain't playing that game. I'm not knocking over like Maggie's grandmother's dishes onto the floor and having them blow up. Like that's just not cool. But I'll fly these around a little bit just so that you can kind of see, like, if you can only have one tiny whoop for inside and outside, and you're going to fly mainly outside, but you want to fly every once in a while inside, I don't know, maybe you're going to get shit runtime outside and you're going to blow these motors up pretty quick if you crash. But hey, that's on you. I try to give you guys as much of my opinion as I possibly can, and then let you see it for yourselves, and then it's on you. If I say that I think it's a bad idea, and then you go down that road too, I have a funny feeling that you're going to end up coming to the same conclusion as me. But I get it. There's some stuff that I just won't take anybody else's opinions on, and I have to kind of test it myself. That's a pretty human kind of thing. Let me get caught up on chat, because you guys are going bananas over there. Robax is, hey, if you, this is my full-time job, friends. I've been doing this full-time for 3-ish years. I would love your support to help me do it. This is completely crowdfunded. This way, when I review stuff, there's no bullshit. Like, if companies choose to send me stuff, I explain to them, like, look, I'm not pulling any punches. Like, it does mean something when a company sends me stuff, because it means that they're somewhat, like, confident in their stuff, because I tell them straight up, like, look, if it sucks, I'm telling a couple of thousand people that it sucks. If that's not okay with you, don't send me anything. And so the folks that actually do then send me stuff, like, just that actually means a lot to me right there. And so, like, I will praise them for sending me stuff, but if it sucks, I'm going to tell you guys that it sucks, because you pay my bills. They don't send me money. And like, when they send me stuff, it like kind of makes more work for me. Yeah, it makes content, right? Which is good. But like, yeah, you guys are paying the bills, and that's sort of a model that I stole from Joshua. It's why Joshua's reviews are so good. And so, and so like fair, is that he's not like, if a company stops sending him stuff, he doesn't care. Same thing for me. Like, I don't expect to be sent anything. It's just like a cool little bonus when they do choose to send me something. And so, yeah, totally crowdfunded. Hanging out certainly helps. Click the thumbs up button, do the YouTube things. That's all great. But really, if you have a couple of extra dollars a month, the number one way that you can help me out is head over to CiottiFPV.com and join my Patreon. That is like the thing that I rely on. This is my paycheck at the end of every month here. And so at the very least, jump onto the $3 a month tier. That's only 10 cents a day. If you're into FPV, it's not, basketball, where like you buy one basketball every year or whatever. It is a hobby that requires a little bit of money. If you help me, I will review more stuff, and eventually I will review something and tell you that it sucks, and you will not buy it. And if you don't buy that thing, I just saved you $30 or $40 or $50. That's like damn near a year of Patreon. So help me keep doing this. Help me have a little bit of extra cash to buy some extra stuff to continue testing this. Patreon is the absolute best way for you to do it. Or if you want to get in on the giveaways that I do every month, if you win a giveaway, you're going to win between $50 and $100 worth of stuff. Again, that's going to pay for your Patreon for many, many, many months. The $5, $10, and $20 tiers enter you to win on the first Monday of every month. Tiny Whoop and Toothpick stuff, 3-inch microbrushless Cinewhoop stuff, 5-inch stuff. So those are awesome if you want to get on the giveaways. If you have an extra $1 a day because you make good money, there's a $30 a month tier that'll actually enter you to win all 3 of those. So you'll be automatically entered into 3 giveaways a month every single month. Those are the folks that tend to win. And then, like I said, when you win, you know, you could get $100 worth of stuff. That's like 3-4 months of free Patreon. So help a brother out. Join my Patreon. A bunch of other ways you can support me. Buy yourself something cool from my Etsy store. I've put tons of new stuff up there. Custom builds that are like custom tuned by me and have been flown on the live stream. Bunch of like really cool hardware that'll help you during your next builds. Go over there. There's probably something you'll dig. Stickers, all kinds of fun stuff. Fiverr is there if you want to work one-on-one with me. I'm also thinking about doing some group sessions where instead of you having to pay $40 for a half an hour of my time or $60 for an hour of my time to get a one-on-one session, I'm thinking about doing like some sim sessions where it's like $10 to jump in for a half an hour, and I have to just like kind of cross my fingers that I can get like 2 or 3 or 4 people to do that. And then basically like we all jump into the sim and I can go, we'll do like a Discord audio session or whatever, so everybody can hear me. And then what I can do in the simulator is I can like, you know, hey, tonight we're doing a half an hour on power loops. And then you guys can all spectate me. And then I show you a couple things. You're going to have a stick overlay on the bottom of your screen showing you my sticks and Velocidrone. And then I can show you, hey, look, here's a couple of the key points of a power loop. And then, all right, you guys now go do it. And I can spectate you guys one by one. And so I spectate the first person, and then I say, okay, here's a mistake that you're making that everybody makes. And I talk through it, and then maybe I can say like, hey, everybody, you know, jump back and spectate me real quick if you want. I'm going to show, you know, this one mistake, and then boom, put you back onto it. And then I can spectate the second person. And, you know, they do a couple power loops. Oh, here's another super common mistake that I just saw. Talk through it. Boom, 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 boom. Would anybody be interested in that? This way it's not, you know, $40 or $60, which is, you know, that's a chunk of money. If it's $10, are there more people that would be willing to do it? Let me know. Say yes. Type yes in chat if you'd be down for like a $10 half an hour session. And I think it would just be like power loops one night, Maddie flips another night, split S's another night, building dives another night, that kind of thing. And then like it would be open for you guys. Like if a bunch of people request trippy spins, I'll say no. But if a bunch of people request like flying low or dialing in your rates or some shit like that, right? Like I would say yes to those. But it's an immediate no on trippy spins because they're bad and you shouldn't do them. And if you do them, you're a bad person. No, you're not. Teespring has some fun shirts and other random apparel that you can get to show off to your friends what a cool person you are. And then look at all these PayPal if you want to just donate directly, but you don't want YouTube to take 30% of your money with super chats. It's okay. They gave me this platform to stream on, so it's all good. I ain't mad at them. They gotta make some money. They're housing 11 billion gigs of video all day, every day. Look at all these affiliate links, yo. Affiliate links are a completely free and really important way to support people that you watch on YouTube. It is completely free, and it makes a huge difference when a whole bunch of you change your bookmarks or your URL bar suggestions to affiliate links. If you're a ninja and you can somehow remember every single time that you buy something on the internet to go onto somebody's website and click their affiliate link, great. I certainly can't do that. So the 2 ways that I support people is that I have changed all of my bookmarks to not just be pyrodrone.com. It's someone's affiliate link so that when I click my I don't really use bookmarks, but just play along. When you click your bookmark for each one of these websites, it is anyone's affiliate link. Or if you don't use bookmarks like me and you just go up to the URL bar and when you want to go to Amazon, you type AMA and it suggests it, go up there, type AMA. It's going to suggest regular old Amazon.com, or if you keep looking at that 55 gallon barrel of lube, it's going to suggest that the most commonly visited Amazon page. Off on the right, you can remove those suggestions, or depending on what browser, maybe you have to right click it. There's a way to remove the suggestions. Remove them, and then come here and click my Amazon affiliate link 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row. And then your browser will think, hey, you want to go to this affiliate link every single time you type AMA for Amazon. And then you can do that with each one of these. And this way you're supporting someone, somebody's going to be able to make better YouTube content for you, and everybody wins. Cool? Do it, yo. I've got affiliate links for Amazon, Get FPV, Pyro Drone, Race Day Quads, Newbie Drone, WeBleed FPV, Beta FPV, FPV Cycle, Oh My God, Brain 3D, HDZero, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. Do it, my friends. If they're not my affiliate links, use somebody's. It's free money, and the person whose affiliate links you use is going to be able to make better shit for you on YouTube, and that's a good thing, isn't it? Isn't it? Do it. Rob Axelson says, hola, senior gangly. What's up, homie? Mick Bucas says, hello, gang, and CiottiFPV. Anybody in Sacto this weekend for the West Coast Tiny Whoop? What's Sacto? Where's Sacto? Sacramento? Rob Axelson also says, finally got some time off. My daughter is getting married this weekend. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. Got family in town. Wish me luck. Dude, rad. That's super cool. Congrats. That's mega. James Thomas says, I heard you mention M1.2 by 12 canopy screws. What do they fit? Also, they fit the double stack setups, basically. So walk snail or old school HDZero. Nowadays we can get the AIO5 and it's a single stack, but yeah, if you're going to do a double stack tiny whoop, M1.2 by 12 screws are the right length. They engage the posts in the frame enough where you actually get good durability. That's it. That's what they do. And then also the Beta FPV 0702 30,000 kV, a good match for the Cockroach V3. No, they are too tall and they are not very efficient. If you already have those motors, you're going to want to match them up with any of the other frames. The Mobile 6 2024 frame, the Beta 65 Air frame, the WeBleed FPV Crown frame, the old school Meteor 65 frame if you want something that's bomb proof. Those are the good ones. Those are the 4 good frames with the higher duct height. If you don't have those motors yet, don't buy those motors. The only 702 motors to buy are happymodel. They are more powerful and more efficient than any of the other 0702s, which is like ridiculous, but happymodel's been making 702s longer than anybody else, so I guess it makes sense. They've found some magical unicorn dust. So yeah. Curtis Hayes says, is it too hot to fly outside so you fly behind the door? No, it's the mosquitoes. They are just vicious here. I don't know what it is. I am super looking forward to the end of mosquito season, because yeah, if I stand outside that front door and fly one battery, I will have like 4 or 5 mosquito bites all over my ankles and legs and shit. It's just awful. It is absolutely awful. And they like bite me in the face and shit too. The mosquitoes here are just dicks. Earthwalker says, yes, I see the vibrations. Cool. Good. CMYK says, I will say I crash hard AF, 65mm 0702 and rarely destroy motors prematurely. I'm talking 15-story falls onto the concrete and 0 damage. Yeah, with what's kind of interesting with 65mm rigs, the lightweight 65mm 702 builds, is like they're so lightweight that, I mean, other than like inverting them and going full throttle, like if you crash at like falling speed, you know, they don't hit hard, and they're so light that there's not a lot of energy behind that hit. So like, I don't care if you send a 65 mil rig up to the fucking Empire State Building and disarm it. Like, it's gonna they reach terminal velocity pretty quick. So like, hitting from the top of the Empire State Building versus hitting from like the ceiling in the living room here is not all that different. And yeah, like, just these 65 mil builds, they are just so well balanced in terms of durability, flight characteristics, power to weight ratio, all up weight, like all the things. They are just absolutely magical. And like, the 75 mil rigs are just not there. Like, the 75 millimeter rigs just don't, they're not as well balanced. They're either overpowered and they get shit runtime, or they're overpowered and they're fragile, or they're underpowered and they're durable, or they get great runtime but they don't have shit for power. Like, there's always a caveat. There's not like a 75 millimeter rig that ticks all the boxes in the anywhere near the way that the 65s do. That being said, you know, the 65 mil rigs are mainly for kind of flying in the house, but like CMYK, for example, he rips 65s outside and it looks great. And like, sometimes I think it looks better than these do. But I mean, this does make more sense outside. There's wind out there. We want to cover more ground. If we can find this perfect kind of, I mean, it's really down to the motors. Like the Mobula 7 V4 frame on an analog 1.6 inch build here, it's plenty durable. Eventually you'll break it for sure. But if you reinforce these bottom, if you do a couple of things, basically, this frame, in my experience, is plenty durable. The main thing that you really do need to do is reinforce. See that black stuff? That's E7000. Same thing as E6000, but it's black. If you reinforce those posts, top and bottom, before you put the build together, this frame is like shockingly durable, even when you slam the hell out of it outside. And so like, these frames are also pretty lightweight. Like they're you know, they seem to be the right weight. There's also the Meteor 75 airframe, which is a gram lighter, and it's been really durable. I haven't actually needed to reinforce anything on that frame. Unfortunately, that frame only clears AIOs that are like cut like the cross style AIO, so you're really limited on what AIO that you run in that frame, which is why I end up with these Mobula 7 V4 frames in damn near everything. We've got a couple of good propellers. You know, these HQ ultralight 1.6s, they are too fragile, but the flight performance is awesome. So if you don't crash very often, these are a great propeller. If you crash, I mean, just not even often, like if you crash, you're definitely going to want the Gemfan 1610 biblade, which is a great propeller. Do I wish it was a little bit lighter to get this kind of flight performance? Sure. If it was a little bit lighter, would it probably become this fragile? Probably. But yeah, between this and that prop, like, they're both awesome. This is the Gemfan 1.6 here. So like, we've got a good frame, we've got a good propeller. We don't necessarily have the best flight controllers right now for these. You can use the 5 amp flight controllers and they're okay, but man, are we pushing the limits. The X12 is like okay, but it's oversized, which is super annoying, so you can only run it in this Mobula 7 V4 or V3 frame if you go 2S. Motors are really like the big limiting factor, but yeah, there's not, as far as I'm concerned, there's not a perfect 75 millimeter setup yet. There's not like an off the shelf, easy to build, easy to repair. You don't have to customize tons of stuff and then fly it carefully because you spent an hour customizing it and you don't want to break it again and have to spend that hour again. We're just not there yet with the 75s. We're certainly nowhere near where we're at with the 65 builds, which is maddening because it's getting to the point where I'm starting to feel like I've spent more time trying to find the magic 75mm formula than I have on the 65mm stuff. That is not true though, because like the first year to two of these live streams was like all 65 all the time, other than the tiny lifters. Because back then, like there wasn't shit for 75s. Like they were a disaster back then, so it wasn't even worth spending any time on them. Once we got like the 1.5mm motor shaft 0802s, these got a lot better. Even though that motor doesn't have quite as much power as I wish that it did. But yeah, there you go, yo. There's a big old 75mm rant for you. Tiny Shark FPV says, does your golden ratio of tuning also apply for other size drones like 2.5, 3.5, 5 inch? Absolutely. Look at the popular motor sizes in all of FPV, right? 5 inch rigs, 2306. That's 4-1, basically 4-1. 2207, 3-1, 71421, right? 3-1, 4-1, right there. 3 inch rigs, 1404 motors, 4, 8, 12, 16, right in between 3 and 4-1. Yeah, it happens over and over and over again in FPV that 3 or 4-1 ratio of motors is where you want to be. By the way, you said tuning. Are you talking about P and I to D ratio in the tuning with the sliders? If so, absolutely. Look, all it is really, it's less of like a golden ratio per se. That's a cool name to put on it, but it's more of just adding extra D gain, additional D gain eats. Well, I mean, just D gain in general is what eats prop wash. I actually didn't start with the whole like push more D gain in thing because of that. It was because it smooths out the footage a little bit. Additional D gain will very slightly delay the attack, the quad going off of set point and then coming back onto set point. You can actually see it in the black box logs. A rig that has the sliders down the middle, so no like additional D gain basically to the factory P to D ratio, it will, if your sticks do this, hold on, if your sticks do that, the quad will damn near perfectly follow that. I don't like the way that looks. That looks jittery with my fingers because I'm pretty aggressive pushing the sticks out and then bringing them back. And that makes the footage look very poppy and very like twitchy. And I just don't like it. I don't like the way that looks when I watch that footage back. It looks like I'm nervous. It looks like I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't have this cool, like purposeful, more smoothed out look to it that pushing that D-gain slider up. In the old days, it would be just adding 5 extra points to D-gain, adding 10 extra points to D-gain. That gives you this, instead of this, it becomes like that. And then when it catches up to set point, it does one of these instead of going. And so like for racing where the footage doesn't matter, you don't want to do this unless you're trying to eat up more prop wash. Then maybe you wouldn't want to push the D gain as far as I do. I push it pretty aggressively, right? Like that ratio of pushing it 0.3 farther on the slider, that's quite a bit. And the main reason I'm pushing it so hard is to get that smoothness. But as a nice side effect, it absolutely gobbles up prop wash. And so, yeah, it's really nice that it kind of works that way. And I do that on absolutely everything. I have for a long time. This is one of the very first things I learned, probably like 7 years ago with tuning is that D gain is what eats the prop wash. P and I gain, well, not really I gain, but P gain is what makes the quad sharp. And so, like, when the wind, if you're flying and the wind hits it, how quickly it pushes back against the wind to stay, because your set point is that you're just cruising straight ahead. And then the wind hits it and that pushes it off set point. The PID loop's job is to fight against that and get it back onto set point. And so if you lower your P gains really low, there will be a noticeable bobble where the wind pushes it and you don't have enough P gain to attack it quickly enough. And so it goes, and then it fixes itself and then it's back. As you push the P gain up, that gets quicker and quicker and quicker to the point where you don't even see it. Whereas D gain is, you know, you're pushing it, you're putting it into its dirty air, or you're doing like a dive, or I mean, it does in that same scenario actually with the wind. If you have a ton of P gain and not enough D gain to balance it out, you're going to get like a noticeable, quick, twitchy correction. If you push a bunch of D gain in, it's going to smooth that correction out and it's going to make that less noticeable. It just makes the footage look better, like straight up. Like additional D gain just makes footage look better. It makes it look less twitchy, less like herky jerky all over the place, regardless of if that's you on the sticks or if that's the wind hitting it. And what's really always fascinated me is that the wind hitting it is going to push it off set point. You moving the sticks, believe it or not, outside of feed forward is the way that the PID loop and the rates work. When you move the sticks, you're actually putting it off of set point, and the PID loop is going to catch up with what you're doing with the sticks. Feed forward is so good because, so think about that, right? Like when you move the sticks, it's almost the same thing as the wind hitting it. So it has to react, right? And so that's why feed forward is so magic, because before feed forward, and with every other flight firmware, and this is why none of the other flight firmware will ever catch up with Betaflight until they institute some sort of a feed forward setup, it's all reactionary. So you move the sticks, and then however aggressive your PID loop is or isn't, it has to react to that stick movement. When you push the sticks, it doesn't push the quad. It puts error into the PID loop, and then the PID loop reacts to that error. In the olden days, before feed forward, and again, all the other flight firmware, the more aggressive you make your PID tune, it is going to affect the way that your rates feel and perform. Because the more aggressive the PID tune, the quicker it's going to react to going off set point when you move the sticks. So you have to balance your rates with the PIDs, which is super annoying, because when you start moving the PIDs up, a lot of times you'll have to back your rates off because all of a sudden you're over-rotating on stuff. With feed forward, it completely takes that out of the equation, because feed forward looks at what the sticks are doing and it pushes the quad. I don't run a lot of feed forward because that happens so quickly that the footage starts to kind of look jittery. But like for racers or people that aren't so insane about the footage looking buttery smooth as I am, feed forward is a fucking miracle. And like if I ever build a racing rig, it's going to have a ton of feed forward because it works so well. You can actually run a pretty loose PID tune and beat the living hell out of the quad, but then push a shitload of feed forward in, and that'll give you razor sharp reactions so that you have something that's like really durable, but it still is like on top of your stick movements. So yeah, there you go. We're ranting tonight, my friends. Peace and love. Thank you again for the $4.20 weed number super chat. Much appreciated, my friend. Curtis Hayes says, tell your dad we're missing him on stream. It's a lot, man. The fact that he's ever watched any of these streams is a miracle, because he's not into FPV, and I'm like way down the rabbit hole, you know? Like think about watching a live stream. Think about watching a West Coast Swing live stream with people that are like super experienced for hours, for 2 hours. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know anything about West Coast Swing. Well, it'd be brutal. Yeah, it's so cool that that he's ever watched these. But yeah, it is what it is. Mick Bucas says, "Shit runtime is my excuse for being late for work." Whatever works, man. Whatever keeps you employed. Scrolling back up to see where I was. Wow. Okay, I'm way behind. All right, man. We're gonna dive into some Q&A here for the next probably 20 minutes or so. Burdetta is in the house. How the hell are you? Burdetta says maybe I stick to high 1002 motors. I wish there were high kV 1002 motors. 22,000 kV to me is not really high enough kV. Yeah, 1002 motors are great. The RCinpower 1002 22,000 kV motors are amazing for a 75 millimeter rig that you take outside, put the nose down, and just rip around. Just carry a bunch of speed and just cruise around the neighborhood. Super quiet, incredibly durable, really, really, really fun. Those motors don't have enough RPM to like hurl you up over stuff. And so like that's what really drives me nuts. Even better, believe it or not, than the RCinpower 1002s are the Betaflight 1102 22,000s. They barely weigh anymore, and they have even more grunt. And sometimes I swear to God that they get more runtime. It's weird. But yeah, those two motors are awesome. And it's very fun to go outside and just charge around the neighborhood. But like, that is, to me, that is like old school tiny whooping, where you're flying like an RC car, forward, back, left, and right. Can you change elevation? Of course. But it's like a two-dimensional almost flying style. And I'm super spoiled with rigs that have more of a three-dimensional flight style, basically meaning that they have enough RPM and like just raw power at the top of the throttle where they can generate a bunch of upward momentum, and so I can like throw them up over stuff, and that's just like the next level of sort of flying to me. And so then you start looking at like the 802 27,000 kV IGAO motors, and you get significantly more of that. You don't get quite enough of it, in my opinion. With these guys, I do. These give me everything that I want. These are how I want a 75 millimeter rig to fly. But they're fragile and the runtime sucks. And so, like, if we were to scale it all out, these two rigs are over here, where you get the... I guess these two rigs would be here, where you get... No, they would be over here. They would be over here. The 1002 rigs are over here, where they don't have enough power, but they have great runtime. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. 1002s and 1102s, it's a very wide motor, so they stay nice and cool, and you get great runtime. Even if you go charging around the neighborhood, 50% throttle cruising, 60% throttle cruising, the motor is so wide that puts a bunch of that motor bell in the airflow, and that keeps it nice and cool, and magnets perform really well when they're nice and cool. So those motors, you get great runtime, you can charge around the neighborhood, it's awesome, but you miss out on that one thing. You miss out on that high kV. That's why I wish there were 27,000, 29,000 kV 1002s, 1102s. Maybe someday we'll get them. Then you've got the 802 27,000s, where they're not as efficient, but you get more of that RPM and you get more of that upward momentum to start throwing them over the roof and the trees and shit like that. It's not quite enough. These are enough. These have that. And so what's interesting is, like, it would be almost impossible for me if I could only have one 75 millimeter rig. I would have a hell of a time choosing between 802 27,000s and 1002 or 1102 22,000s, because each one of them does a very specific thing really, really well. Neither one of them like really stands out enough. These guys do. These really stand out, and the flight performance really stands out, but then we lose runtime and we lose the YouTube just completely shit the bed. Oh man, I just lost all that. I just lost the whole chat. Oh, man. YouTube, why do you suck so bad? All right, hold on. I gotta... That's super annoying. I'm gonna have lost a whole bunch of chat comments probably. That sucks. Let's see. Let's see how much oh yeah, I lost a ton. Oh man, there's like super chats that I can't see. Oh, come on YouTube, get your shit together, man. All right, well, I lost everything before 10:39. If you super chatted me before 10:39 and I didn't read it yet, do me a huge favor and tag me and say, yo, I super chatted X dollars, Y cents, and here's what I said. I hate to make you do that, but blame YouTube. I got nothing. Mick Mucus says, if you can help with my half Maddies, yes. What's a half Maddie? I can help you with anything, brother. My ability as an instructor is pretty damn good. I got super lucky and was able to instruct at the racetrack, autocross and track days for many, many years. And just like that, yeah, I learned how to explain things to people when they're super stressed out, doing something really difficult, doing something really fast paced. And I also learned how to like explain things in a couple of different ways so that one of those ways will click with their brain. So like, yeah, I'm really good at instructing in the simulator with FPV. And so, yeah, I can help you with damn near anything. 661 says, holy crap, WeBleed is selling just the bells for 0702s with 1.5mm shafts, $5 each. You're welcome. A while ago, months ago, when Zotek told me that he was going to be getting 1.5mm motor shaft 702s, I said, dude, please, please, please ask happymodel if you can get just the bells. I will love you long time. And he did, so you're welcome. I'm going to get a bunch of those. Tiny Shark FPV says, thoughts on the SPYDER ITSY Cine frame, especially versus getting just a 2.5-inch Cine frame. I've heard good things about it. I forget who makes that, but I had a really negative interaction with that person on Facebook. He was just, for no reason, like a total dick to me. And so that really tainted my, fair warning, that totally tainted my view of his products. Regardless of that, though, my main problem with that frame is that there's like no real prop protection. Like, and I get it, right? Like the FAA puts a rule in place that says you can have no externally rotating parts that can lacerate the skin. And so we take, we want something that's going to fly as good as possible and be as light as possible. So we will take the tiniest little bit of carbon fiber and we will run it just barely around the outside of where the prop is going to be. And hey, fuck you, FAA. I made this frame so that it is within your rules, and away we go. Well, I don't want to be the guy that puts one of these things into it. Look, eventually you're going to have a rig fall out of the sky and it's going to hit somebody. And I try really hard to use frames that when, not if, that happens, that person does not get fucked up. Because I don't want to be that guy. And so, like, that frame is not for me. That amount of prop protection is just nowhere near enough. There are some brilliant, there are a ton of great pilots that run that frame, and like I get it, and like you do you, but it's not. I'm not doing it. It's just too sketchy. Also, like that one piece of carbon fiber, like smashing into someone's forehead, like that's gonna. I mean, carbon fiber is kind of nasty stuff when it's got like an edge on it like that. Like that, it just no. That ain't gonna be me. But maybe that's me being a fucking old man and like YOLO, bitch, fuck everyone else. Like I don't know if that's you. I guess good luck. Hopefully your shit doesn't fall out of the sky. They all fall out of the sky eventually, though, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm being too cautious, but I'm not gonna be that guy. Sorry. And so yeah, I need more prop protection than that. I at the like. Yeah, no, I need more prop protection. I need something above and below the prop line so that like there's not fingers going in there, there's not hopefully not hair going in there, and I also need, if it's going to be straight carbon like that, here, I'll show you. I need something like this. Like a nice little 3D printed, and maybe this exists for that frame on Thingiverse, it probably does. I need something that's going to yeah, like if this hits somebody in the forehead, they're not going to the hospital. If this hits somebody in the forehead, like that might be a hell of a gash, and it ain't me. So, but look, that frame, because of how little protection that frame offers, it's gonna fly amazing, right? And so, like, and the better a frame flies, the less likely you're going to be to hit someone. But I'm not worried about me hitting someone. I'm worried about it falling out of the sky and hitting someone when I have no choice, right? Like that's what I'm planning for. I'm not necessarily planning for me to hit people. Like I've got those 3D printed things on the front of that. So if I do hit someone, right, it's fine. I go a step further than that and plan on the absolute worst case, which is that it's not me being an idiot. It's just our awful components that we have no choice but to, like just eventually failing, as they all do, regardless of what like it doesn't matter if it's Acon or T-Motor or Hobby Wing or whatever, eventually it's going to let go. And so that's where I'm at, right? I'm planning for like that eventuality, so that, yeah, I'm not that guy, hopefully. Burdetta says, I found the Happy Model 0702s to not hold up to my outdoor bashing. Yeah, I don't really fly the 65mm rigs outside. Those are indoor rigs to me. That's one of the big reasons I've been pushing so hard on the 75mm stuff. We have motors available that have 1.5mm motor shafts. Although now we're starting to get 702s with 1.5mm motor shafts, and those are going to be indestructible for life. So yeah, that's the solution for you, Burdetta, is to get some of these 0702 Happy Model bells from WeBleed with the 1.5mm motor shaft, and then you're good to go. Once I get a bunch of those, I am almost certainly going to build an outdoor 65mm rig to, yeah, just kind of see. And then I can do a 65 versus 75 outside kind of thing, and that'll be interesting, because something that Cloudhopper actually pointed out recently is that the 65mm rigs are so much lighter now that they actually have better power to weight ratios than, I think he said, any of the 75mm rigs, which is like not totally surprising. And so I don't know, maybe, you never know. 65 could be better outside than 75. I doubt it, because there's wind outside, and the 65mm builds in the wind are just a joke. I love flying the 65s at jungle gyms because they're so much lighter, they're so much more accurate. But good God, if there is any wind, it is like so difficult to like that accuracy that you had a minute ago when there wasn't any wind is gone, because they're getting pushed so hard from the wind. And that's where the obsession with 75s really came from, and the whole like jungle gym basher setup. So yeah, I don't doubt that 1mm motor shaft 65mm rigs don't hold up super well outside. Although I've heard the opposite. CMYK flies 65s a lot outside, and he's been okay with the durability. But see, that's the thing about durability is that okay durability in one person's eyes can be completely unacceptable for another person, and that's okay. That's totally okay, right? That's one of the reasons that I'm so hardcore about motor plugs. If you have a build with motor plugs, when you wreck a motor, it's no big deal. You don't have to pull the whole goddamn thing apart to desolder and resolder a new motor. You fucking pull 3 screws, you pull the propeller, you swap the new one in, and you're back up in the air in like 4 minutes versus 40 minutes of removing all 12 motor screws, pulling the canopy out. You know, you're wearing all of those motors as you pull the screws out every time. You're wearing the frame every time. It's, you know, so there you go. Levi FPV with a $5 super chat. He says, link above. Levi, you cannot, only moderators can put links into the chat. Something really dumb that YouTube does is that for you think you put a link there. And in your chat, it looks like you've got that link there. Nobody else can see it. It's the stupidest thing ever. So, yeah, tell me what to search for on Google to get to the link that you shared, because nobody can see your link, unfortunately. Cheatonian says, I made a 2G4 fit an Air 75 frame. It took a good amount of trimming, but nothing excessive. Running 802 27,000 is my favorite 40mm, even with a CO3 and heavy Beta FPV canopy. Yeah, I've got a good call, actually. I've got a Air 75 frame that I clearanced to fit a HDLRC Spectre AIO, which I do not recommend you get. I got 2 in a row, and they were both bad right out of the box. FETs blew up instantaneously on both of them. And yeah, I removed a bunch of material to get that to clear, just to kind of give you guys some idea of what that looks like. You can see right here, there was a bunch that I had to remove, and I had to put a big, you can really see it better on the other side. That's where like the motor plugs sit, so you got to do that. And then you got to remove some from in here as well. It's totally doable. Whether or not it'll make this weak to the point where it breaks, I doubt it, but you never know. My main issue with that is, again, going back to, you spend a half an hour modifying this frame to get the AIO to fit. Every single time you fly this, in the back of your head, there's that half an hour. And you're never going to push this super, super, super hard and just not give a shit if you break it, because you know that if you break it, you're going to have to spend that half an hour again. And so I really, really, really try super hard to run off-the-shelf components so that it's just break it. Fly it as hard as you possibly can. Don't care about breaking it, because breaking it is $3 and 15 minutes of work or whatever it may be, right? Versus 45 minutes. I totally get it. Believe me, I totally get customizing stuff. But once you really start flying hard, everything starts breaking. And when you have that cycle of spending a bunch of time customizing stuff, it adds up. It really does start to add up. And so, yeah, there's only a 1 gram difference between that frame and the Mobula 7 V4. And so I'm like, no, that's not enough to warrant it. If it was a 2 gram difference, I'd probably be shaving material from those Air 75 frames, because that's legit. But yeah, 1 gram is like, no. Also, the X12 AIO is full blown too wide for that Air 75 frame. Like, you would have to cut the entire inside of the duct here out to get it to fit, and it's just ridiculous. The 2G4, you don't have to do that, but the X12 is a little bit bigger, and so it just absolutely will not fit in this. Like, technically you could get it to fit, but you would have to cut the inside of the duct out. That's ridiculous. Bernetta says, I put the HDZero AIO5 in the Air 75 frame with 1002 21,000s. Very cool. I am super curious about the AIO5 in a 75 millimeter frame. I haven't done it because I've just not been really impressed with the range of HDZero, and 75 millimeter rigs I'm going to be flying outside the house. And so at the moment, to me, for me, the best use of that HDZero board is indoor stuff. I got to fly that rig more, actually. I built that thing, and then I flew a few batteries, and then I just kind of stopped flying it. I don't know. It's again, I constantly go back to this thing with HDZero where it's like, yes, the image quality is better than analog, but like, it's not that much better. Yes, the latency is super low, but like, so is analog. And it's just it just keeps falling into this awkward like middle ground where like, if I want to be able to see where I'm going and or to have good DVR, it has to be walk snail. And then if I want to like fly really hard, analog is cheaper and lighter, and I can still kind of see where I'm going. And it's so like, yeah, I love that it exists though. For look, I'm lucky. I've got a pair of Fat Sharks for analog. I've got the HDZero goggles set up with analog. So for me, analog is like no big deal. There's loads of people who are looking at spending $150 or $200 on buying an analog set of goggles or a module for their HDZero goggles. That's an awful lot of money. For those people, it makes so much sense to just never go analog and just to get the AIO5. So like, it's amazing that it exists. But for I'm different, right? Like I have a ton of analog stuff, and that changes it a little bit. So yeah, yeah. Just Bo says, when I plugged in the USB into the AIO5, I shocked myself that I F up the AIO. I don't know. Did you? I have no idea. Does it still work? That's interesting. Justmo says, did a continuity test and it seems fine. Yeah, I mean, you got to put power to it to find out. So like there's nothing you can do. It's either fucked up or it's not. So like, just put power to it, right? Like you didn't like solder two components together or anything weird like that. You just plugged into the computer. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got to just put power to it. There's nothing like you can preemptively do before you put power to it to like bring it back to life, I guess, or like make it not be blown up or whatever. McBuka says, you don't dig the 2G for just what? You don't dig the 2G for just because of the ESCs. Oh. Yes. The only thing that's not genius about the 2G4 is the fact that it's only got 5 amp ESCs. If the 2G4 had 12 amp ESCs, every other AIO could go to hell for life. There'd be no reason to buy any other AIO ever. I would buy 50 of the damn things and just sit on them for years and just dole them out for like $200 per, because it would be God's ESC forever. Unfortunately, the 12 amp FETs, I believe, are bigger than the 5 amp FETs, and like we're already trying to cram a billion things onto these AIOs. So yeah, I've yet to find a 12 amp AIO that is anywhere near as good as the 2G4. But yeah, if you put motors that aren't like horrendously overpowered on a 2G4, they're fine. The 2G4 works totally fine with 802 27,000s. You are pushing it to its absolute max, but I've flown a lot of batteries on that combo and it's been totally fine. 1002, 1102, 22,000 kV motors, same deal. You are pushing those 5 amp FETs to their bitter limit, but you're not over that limit to the point where you start getting core temperature warnings all the damn time. So yeah. But unfortunately, all of those motors just don't have quite enough power for me. I just want a little bit more. So, Tiny Shark FPV with a 250. What is that symbol? It's like a squiggly P. It's a Philippine peso. Thank you, dude. 250 Philippine pesos. Thank you for that detailed answer. You're certainly welcome. Thank you for supporting the insanity that is doing FPV full time. Scott FPV says, "What's up, guys? Been a while since I've had the chance to catch you live. I've been working second shift. Glad to have you back, my friend." Cheatonian says, "Speaking of bad ideas, 2S analog Odinata running beta FPV 1102 18,000s off an X12. I have no idea how the X12s are going to be on 2S. My guess is that they're going to be not great because like I haven't had a great time with them on 1S. I've been through 2 X12s already. I've heard from lots of people that they have not had great durability experiences with X12s. At the moment, it seems like it is the best of the 12 amp all-in-ones. So that's my main worry, is that it's not going to last very long on 2S. But 1102 14,000s on 2S are going to blast. Yeah, with 1610 props. That's going to absolutely rail. The power to weight ratio is going to be nuts because it's an analog rig. Although the Odinata frame, I think, is a little on the heavy. I mean, compared to a plastic frame, it's a fat bastard. In terms of the other 1.6 inch frames, I think it's maybe a little bit heavier than some of the others. I could be dead ass wrong there though. But yeah, those motors on 2S are going to make gobs of power, and so the fact that that frame is going to be a little bit heavy is, yeah, it's going to offset that. My main issue with that build is going to be that without the prop guards to slow it down and keep it from sliding around, that's a build that like you're going to have a little bit of trouble. So that is an obviously like a front yard backyard setup. If your front and backyard is like mine, where there's a whole bunch of really cool little gaps to shoot in between bushes and plants and shit, not having the prop guards, that thing's going to be very slidey, and it's going to make hitting those gaps a little bit annoying, a lot harder than something like this. The magic, the absolute magic of these two things on these big power motors is that it's enough power to like throw it and play vertically around the trees and whatnot, but then when you slow down and you pull the throttle down and you fly at 30% throttle, it's light enough and it's super accurate, like a little razor. And you see me shooting in those tiny little gaps next to the right side of the front door, and like that's so much fun. It's so cool to be able to slow down and shoot that little stuff and duck in here, like, oh, there's a tiny little gap there, I can get through there. And then when you get sick of flying small, you can hammer the throttle and send it up to the treetops and then dive back down. And like, it's this, like, again, going back to balance. Like, these, from a flight characteristic standpoint, are like very balanced, and you can do much like a 5-inch rig. You can fly them big as hell, or you can fly them small. They have this like incredible range of performance. You don't get that range of performance with the lower powered motors. You don't get that range of performance when you remove these prop guards, because there's nothing to stop it from sliding, right? It's just, it becomes way more aerodynamic from this perspective. And the more aerodynamic it is here, the worse the slide is going to be. When you're flying straight ahead, or when you're flying towards a gap and you got it a little bit wrong and you make the correction, the more the more aerodynamic it is, the more it's going to want to not correct with you. and then you're going to have to overcorrect, or you're going to have to lose the horizon and pull one of these, and then you go towards the gap doing that, and it looks terrible. So like, yeah, man, these things are, these 75s are super interesting because of that. But it's just, we have not found the perfect motor quite yet, but we will. Maybe. Burdetta says, sent you the chat via Discord. What chat is... Oh, awesome. Thank you. Very cool. Oh, Discord. Really? There we go. Oh my God. Rad. Teleport FPV with a $5 super chat. He says, thanks for the honesty and the shared knowledge. Thank you for supporting me, my friend. It is my pleasure. Levi FPV with a $5 super chat. I think I might have gotten that one. Burdetta, thank you so much. This is awesome. Open in browser. And then there's Levi. And all right, cool. So I don't think I missed that much. I caught all the tags, and we are good. Sweet. Teleport FPV says, shit happens, just sent a few bucks your way and said thanks for all the knowledge you share. Dude, thank you very much. 661 FPV says, I have the 2G4 in an Air 75, just had to direct solder the camera to the flight control. Oh, right, that's the, yeah, the camera plug. Right. Good call. Just had to direct solder the camera to the flight controller. There are pads on the bottom, yep, that aren't too hard to solder. Didn't have to remove the cam plug from the flight controller. Yeah, I actually have a Mobula 6 canopy and a Runcam Nano 3 here with no plug on it, because this is what I had on my the most recent X12 that failed. One of the things that failed before the whole thing shit the bed was that camera plug broke off of it, and so I direct soldered it on here. Yeah, so that'll be the other thing that you have to do to get a 2G4 into an Air 75 frame. You're gonna have to clearance where I showed you guys earlier, and then you're also gonna have to direct solder the camera, because that camera plug is gonna be too far out and it's gonna push into the duct. And you do not want that, because that will be basically hard mounting the AIO, and then all the vibrations from the motors and the props will dump straight into that AIO and it'll suck. Drones in FPV says, so I just plugged in my Air 75 and went to move it and felt something burn me. It's the tip of the antenna. Yeah, never seen this before. What's going on? That's the antennas. That is normal. It's so funny. Like, you almost never touch the tip of the antennas to have that happen. If you don't want it to happen again, just take a little bit of E6000. What you've got going on is that you've probably crashed that rig a bunch, and it has like ground away at the silicone that's around the metal, the active element of the antenna. And so previously you had like the silicone, and then the metal active element was down in the silicone a little bit. Well, you've crashed it and ground away the silicone, so now you've got a little bit of that active element peeking out, and that's what burns you. That's totally normal. Yeah, you can just put a little bit of E6000 on the tip there, so that it's rubber and it's not metal, and that won't happen again. It's funny, that happened to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, wow, I remember, like, it hadn't happened to me in years. And you don't get that with like these other style antennas. You only get that with those whip style antennas. You know, this, you'll never have it with like a circular polarized antenna, right? It's all plastic. You'll never have that happen. Yeah, it's a funny thing that will happen to everyone at some point. Cheatonian with a $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. Here's a great stuff. Very interesting thoughts on the 2S stuff. Thanks. You're certainly welcome. Drones in also says, 100% I'm being shocked from the tip of the whip. Bit of real, what's up with that? Yeah, and it's actually heat. It's just heat. It's not shocking you. It just gets hot. Drones in says, that's wild. In my 7 years of FPV, never had that happen. Yeah, when it happened to me, like I said a few weeks ago, I couldn't remember the last time that it happened, but I know that it had happened before, because it wasn't it wasn't a moment of like, what the hell's going on? It was a moment of like, oh my God, it's been a long time since that happened to me. So yeah, it's funny. Curtis Hayes says it's called an RF burn. Interesting. I can't imagine that on big ass antennas. That's I'm sure people that deal with big ass antennas know about that and avoid it because like yeah, that might be nasty. I'm caught up on chat. Look at me go. Let's fly, my friends. Did I do all the things I put in the title of the stream? 6 batteries, 75mm battle, Q&A. Yeah, look at us. Getting some shit done. Let's fly the smaller motors first. RCinpower 0703s, 27,000 kV, HQ, farts. HQ farts, bro. HQ ultralight 1.6 inch bi-blades. I'm going to use the HDZero goggles because I'm going to DVR this and then I'll have a folder on my desktop with indoor and outdoor flying with these setups because, like I said, I'm pulling both of these apart. If there's a chance I will sell these motors. So if you want slightly banged up RCinpower 0703 27,000s or a little bit more banged up than those, VCI 0802.8 27,000s, let me know. Eventually they'll be up on the Etsy store, but if you want to get them before that, message me. Because yeah, I like with 1mm motor shafts, I'm just gonna make them even worse. You know? Alright. Let's do this. Yo, for the record, having a nice big bright LED on the back like this makes these so much easier to find outside when you crash them. This is an awesome little piece from tinywhoop.com. It's an infinitely small and lightweight little PCB that functions as a 180 degree BT 2.0. It comes with a BT 2.0. You solder it on there. You solder a set of wires on. These things are amazing. I've got a whole bunch of these coming. I'm going to be putting these on everything, and you should too. These are great. Jesse has them in a whole bunch of different colors. Highly, highly, highly recommended. Next time you can't find your Tiny Whoop after you've crashed it, imagine it being that bright. It is like proper brightness. Yeah, it's hard to show it. There's a lot of light in this basement, but yeah, it's really bright. Even like in broad daylight outside, it was very easy to see. All right, here we go. Cooking a hot dog. Oh my god, I knew it. I knew that would be a crazy thing. There he is. Oh boy, what was that? Oh my god. Okay, all right. I've been flying 65s in the house. I have to recalibrate to the very different flight experience of something this heavy and powerful inside the house. So just give me a second. Okay. Oh my god. Here we go already with a core temperature warning. Jesus Christ on a cracker. There we go. Let's get it upstairs. Ooh, it's getting hot. Yeah, 0703 is a powerhouse for sure, but as a motor size, it's just not wide enough to stay cool. To stay cool enough, in my opinion. Nice and light, great power, but yeah, a bit of a cursed motor size. in my opinion. If I were to put it into a lighter weight rig, that would help for sure. That's about it. That's about the only way you'd be able to get that under control. Whoa. Or if I just flew less hard, right? Like if I just kind of cruise around, that core temperature warning will go away. It's popping up because I'm hammering full throttle all the time, you know? This is shockingly flyable in here. The motors are nice and light, which makes this more flyable than most 75mm rigs would be inside the house. Still kind of tough. It's still a heavy rig. Nothing like a 65. Ah! You hear that noise just now when it hit the door? That's not a noise that you get with the 65mm rigs. That's the noise of, like, break yo shit. Ah. Yeah, like, I'm terrified that I'm going to break some shit over on the bar cart with one of these 75s as it hurls itself towards the bar cart. Oh, Teddy! Careful, boy. This is a heavier, more angry quad. Oh, whoa. Oh, so the other big problem with the core temperature warnings is that you will not get any other warnings, such as, hey, idiot, your battery is low. I just hammered the fuck out of this battery. Let me put it right on the charger. That's not too bad. It bounced back to 3.7. That's not terrible. All right, I'm going to get that back up to 3.8, though. One more quick one on this guy here. Hold on. Let me put this into Betaflight and take a quick look. One of these X12s is a BMI 270. The other one is an ICM. 26,880, 680, I forget. Let me see which one this is. Chitonian says, it's weird to me. I've been flying the 0703 on an X12. I've yet to see a core temperature warning and getting 2.5 to 3 minutes. I'm guessing I'm not flying as hard as you outside versus inside. Yeah, you can make these 0703s work, but how hard you fly has a lot to do with all this stuff. And I fly hard. I use full throttle constantly. And when I'm outside, I'm just hammering. And so, yeah, you can make these motors work. If you just cruise them around, you can get 3 minutes. That's not how I want to fly, though. Patiently waiting for Betaflight to open. This is why I'm not saying, like, yo, don't buy these motors. I present you guys this info. I show you the flight footage. I show you how I'm flying. And if you fly exactly the same, you're going to get a similar experience. But if you don't fly that hard, then, yeah, the things are going to... It's going to change a little bit. E-Doc says, what's it like flying for 2 minutes or more? Hey, buddy boy. What's that noise you're making? Apparently, Betaflight has just ceased to be. Oh, okay. That was weird. As soon as I unplugged the... I guess that... I'm going to assume that was a coincidence. That was weird. As soon as I unplugged the quad, it stopped bouncing. Turn these goggles off. Why is it not connecting? Man, I had this problem before. I plugged it in and just nothing happened. What the hell? Bueller? It's getting power from the USB. It's powering up from the USB, but it's not showing up here where I need it to show up. Hear that beep? That's it getting power and firing up the receiver. What the fuck's going on? Oh, did this... Oh, no, this other one's fine. This is one of the things that made me all angry earlier. It's this X12. This X12 is not passing data. What the hell was that? YouTube just shit the bed again. What the fuck is going on? Dude. What the hell? I hate everything. Why can't anything work? Like, we've been making things and making websites and making the internet for how long now? Why does everything not just work? Cheetonian says, my computer is unhappy. Why are you unhappy, computer? That's not related to this, though. I just plugged in that other X12 and it's completely fine. This X12 is apparently dead. Because, like, if I can't get it to connect to Betaflight, it's worthless to me. Okay, well... Anybody want an X12 that you can't hook up to Betaflight? What the hell? Let me plug in this other one again just to confirm. Yep, nope, this one's fine. It's this specific X12. Oh, wait a second. So let's see. All right, stream's totally fine. Watch this. I'm going to plug in this X12. Oh, no. I thought maybe something about this X12 was fucking with the computer. Well, okay. So that's 3 X12s that have failed on me. I know I can still fly this, but I mean, that's a failure. Like, you know, this AIO is broken. Not having USB is a... I mean, you can't even plug... I can't even plug a... I won't even be able to plug a SPYDER into this. You know what I mean? This is... Wow. Okay. So... I mean, that's pretty much the nail in the coffin for the X12 as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, there is not a half decent 12 amp AIO. It does not exist. The HDLRC Spectre is a nightmare, and the X12s are useless too. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess now I've got a one-way whoop, so I'll put garbage on this and send it into oblivion and just start flying it like really hard. That is incredibly annoying. Okay, well, we'll put another battery through it. Shit, watch this. Come on! There we go. Oh, this will be fun. Oh, these poor motors are gonna get absolutely obliterated, though. I won't go that hard. Oh, man. This hobby is something else. The lack of quality we get in these components is mind-blowing. Get a load of it. Oh, shit. Oh, God. And so it begins. Oh, no. Oh, yeah! Get as hot as you want, core temperature. Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Oh, oh. Oh. Woo! That was a big one. Ah! Oh, shit! I thought I was going to pull that one off. Woo! Look at the flight performance, dude. Come on. Can somebody make these motors in a 1.5 mil shaft, please? Oh! That hit hard. Unhinged flying, we'll call this. Uh-oh. Get out of there. Get out of there. Come on. Come on. So this is like the dog's toy area. It is just forever a nightmare. Oh, God, thank Christ. I don't know if I was going to get out of there. Oh, this battery's done. Wow, I ate that battery quick. Get you some! Woo! This battery's going to catch on fire. Sorry, little battery. Ah, it bounced back okay. There you go. Oh! Oh, one of those hits was hard. This battery's all bent up. Oh, this battery is hot, too. Yo, this battery is boiling hot from that. Yeah, see, that's I just hurt this battery. You just watched me, like, really damage this battery. I'm going to get it up to storage voltage. At the very least, the least I can do. It's already at storage voltage. Yeah, it was sagging like a son of a bitch. Yeah, all right. If you ever wondered how to destroy your batteries, that's how, right there. Discharge them in 1.5 minutes. Let me plug it in one more time. Just in case. Well, let's try turning off ELRS. And we'll turn this off. Maybe there's some weird... There's not. It's broken. Yeah, no, it's not coming up. It's just stuck in manual selection. What a pain in the ass. Cheetonian says, I bet you fly a few packs, plug it in again, and it works. Nope. Brendan's Bean says, you have a Chromebook in the house. I don't know. This is a strictly no PC household. That's not true. Sage has a PC. Brendan's Bean says, I had to fix my buddy's laptop last night as it couldn't connect to just one AIO. What? Turns out that one AIO needed to use a different port, and that one was taken by some device. What? What is that about? I don't really think Macs work that way, but I don't know much about computers, so I could be wrong. EEDoc says, is it SPI? Yes. Yes. If it is... If it's not, you can beta FPV... You can beta FPV via Express LRS. What's that mean? You can... Oh, you can beta flight. Oh! Oh, that's right. There's that weird ELRS thing. Man, I remember that from a while back. Yeah, no, it's SPI. Good call. EDoc says, as they say in Spaceballs, even in the future, nothing works. That's right. That's right. In Spaceballs, nothing works. I forgot about that. Cheetonian says, buy an $80 Windows laptop and use it exclusively for Betaflight. No. 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 Windows can go to hell forever. Brains McBean says, you should be using app.betaflight.com from now on. Needs a Chrome-based browser. What? I didn't know that was a thing. What? 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 It's not showing up in here either. No compatible devices found. I have to quit out of this? Maybe? No. No, yeah, it's not showing up in here either. This is cool, though. I didn't know this existed. The hell? How nice is that? Man, I remember in the olden days when there was a Betaflight Chrome app. I loved it. When that went away, I was sad. Yeah, no, it's not showing up here either. It's broken. It's broken. Whatever. Welcome to FPV, where everything breaks for no reason, forever, always. Cheatonian says, what PID loop frequency are you running on those X12s? The one of them that's BMI 270 is whatever the BMI 270 is, 3.3 or whatever the fuck it is. I did unplug and replug, Brandon. The other one is 4K. All these are F4s, so you really don't want to go beyond 4K. I'll try it one more time. Just replugged it. Goggles are off. Transmitter's off. Nothing. It's broken. Oh, replug, then click can't find my device, but if you click auto connect, it just works. No compatible devices found. Cancel. Auto connect. Connect. I got nothing. Select your device. I can't find. No compatible devices found. Cancel. Auto connect. Nah, nothing. Nothing. Unplugging. Replugging. Now auto connect is turned on. Can't find. Nah, I closed the other Betaflight. Yeah, now it's busted. Nothing. Oh, well. Yep, it's Chrome. 0802.8 build. The X12 that's not broken. Flat part away from me. Here we go. This is the rig with all the vibrations and whatnot. So, buckle up, buttercups. USB port is broken or dirty. Yeah, I think it's broken. It could be dirty. Nah, not dirty. It's like brand new. Yeah, it looks fine. The where it's soldered to the board looks fine too. And it's not like wiggling around or anything, it's strong. Weird, whatever. Nothing in FPV ever works. We should be used to this by now. Sometimes stuff works though, and then it's like, man, that's cool. All right, noticeably heavier. Noticeably heavier. We're gonna weigh these two in a minute. Hey! Hey! Yeah, this is Oh, I missed it. This is a lot of jam for inside the house. Ah, I tried to Maddie flip it down into the cube. Ah, I missed it again. Oh man, the core temperature warnings on these fucking 75mm builds are just obnoxious. Hey. Nope. Hey. Ah! That was an embarrassing crash. I just wanted to drop down and do this. Oh no! Oh, I can't believe I caught that. Hey. Oh, God. Again, because of the core temperature warning, I'm getting no battery low warnings, which I personally really rely on. Minute and 45. What a joke. Yeah, no, I mean, these motors are cool and all, but boy, they're just too much. They're just hitting these. Oh yeah, this battery is mega hot too. Jesus. Yeah, no, god damn. I was moving the plug around and like loading up the USB plug up, down, left, and right too to try to get it to work before, and it was that didn't make a difference. I forgot to mention that a second ago. I thought that was when it happened to the AIO earlier in the day today. That's what I thought it was because it did connect like one last time. But yeah, now it won't connect at all. Man, these HDZero goggles just did a huge white flash. Oh my god. Hey, it's in a box. Oh my god. Teddy! This is not the quad that you want to tangle with, my little fuzzy friend. Ah, there it was! I was trying to do that before. Hey, yeah, this is so much for in here. Oh man, I dropped it in here perfectly to do... I dropped it in here. Okay. Come on, you bastard. Teddy, don't do it. Teddy! Teddy, back up! You know what? Fuck it. Let it get caught in your beard. You're getting groomed tomorrow anyway. Oh! Oh man, you know what I just noticed too? When you bump into stuff with this, the burst of throttle that it gets is like mega. You know, like with a 5-inch rig, like when you hit a tree branch with a 5-inch rig, it's like the end of the fucking world. This is the same way. How is that stuck? What the hell? Oh wait, it's because I'm flying it and I can get anything stuck anywhere ever. Stop it, Teddy! Jesus, man! You like went after it. I'm gonna beat you, dog. Wait till this live stream is over. You're getting beaten. Back up! Oh god, I can't screw around with it. Oh, Teddy! Hold on. That's a little too hot. This is the X12 that still works. I don't want to cook it. There we go. Coming down. See all those vibrations? Oh, I almost hit myself in the head! That was a full-blown eyes closed moment. Ah! Okay, here we go. Great. Plinko engaged. Come on! Oh god, don't destroy everything. Yeah, these are challenging to fly in the house. 2 minutes and 5, there we go. We got over the 2-minute mark. But again, this battery is going to be absolutely on fire. It's not as bad. This battery is not as bad as the one that just came off of it, for sure. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, no, this one was not too hot. The one that came off a minute ago was boiling though. Like that was way too hot. Like the battery is now hurt hot. Well, there you go, friends. If you want power, These motors will give you the power. That's for sure. I think that I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Butterfly FPV also came to the same conclusion about, I think about these, maybe both of these. I think he's tested both of these motors. Definitely one of these two motors very recently, he came to the exact same conclusion that yes, the power is awesome and they fly great, but they're just too hard on the battery. And I think it's because they're too tall. I really do. I think that, I mean, it's funny. The reason that the flight characteristics are so good on these motors is the problem. The fact that these motors are so tall is why they make the extra power. The fact that they're not wide is why they're so lightweight. But then we've gone a little bit too far with them, essentially. And so yeah, and this, you know, this is actually like a really good this is really good data, because what this shows us is that an 080 an 8 by 2.8, that ratio of width to height, and a 703, those ratios are, it's not enough. We need more width. We need wider motors than that in order for them to stay cool in these kind of situations, at this kind of KV. The other thing that I forgot to mention is that these propellers are the lowest pitch, lightest weight 1.6 inch props that are available. So it's not like, oh, it's just because you're running too aggressive props. No, if I moved these over to GemFan 1610s, the situation would get significantly worse. They would make more power, but yeah, the situation would get way worse. So yeah, if you want to fly like I fly, the ratio of width to height needs to be closer. Both of these guys are less than 3-to-1. You have to be at the very least at 3-to-1, or I think you really want to be at 3.5-to-1 or even 4-to-1 with height ratio. If you're going to be this high of a KV. That noise that you hear is Teddy yawning. When this dog yawns, he yawns like us. You know, like when you yawn, you're like, oh, right? That noise. Teddy either learned that from us or I don't know, but that's how he yawns. When he yawns, he goes, oh, and it's absolutely hysterical. What are you doing? Why are you so jacked up? You're all jacked up on goofballs, but you're yawning all over the place. Oh, you fart bag bastard, you. He's getting groomed tomorrow, yo. Enjoy this crazy... We're both Teddy and I are getting groomed tomorrow, actually. Enjoy the full-length schnauzer hair now, because it's gone. It will not be as good looking on Friday. Look how mangy he looks, but he pulls mangy off just like his dad. He pulls mangy off very well. You are such a funny little boy. Man, are you a pain in the ass sometimes, but boy, you make me laugh when I'm not crying. What are you doing? What are you doing up there? You sniffing my keyboard? Stop that. Stop pushing the keyboard. What are you doing? What are you up to? What's your deal? Look at this. Look at this hair. Look at these paws. Look at that. Look how fluffy. Look at this. Look at all his hair. Me and this dog just hang out, man. We just hang out after these live streams for hours. He stays up all night with me. Now he goes to sleep. You're a good dog, Teddy Spaghetti. Arr. Arr. Look at you. Look at you. Arr. Oh, good boy. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys on Friday at 7 o'clock. No, Curtis. He just bites, bro. Doesn't matter how you hold this dog. He just bites. That's just what he does. I don't pick him up by his armpits when I hold him like that. I'm actually like holding him by his body. I'm not like loading up his armpits. I've always wondered about that. Like it's always seemed like when like you shouldn't pick dogs up from under their armpits. See, I get him by his little fat body part, like in here. All right, buddy, you can go. You can go. Yeah, he just bites constantly. It's like if you're hanging out with this dog, he's biting you. He's a bitey boy. But he's only like barely 2, so he's in all of the miniature Schnauzer people say that from 1 year to 3 years they're velociraptors. So he is firmly in velociraptor age mode, whatever. Get away! Take your chicken out of here. Bye. Wait, no. Here's flying it outside. Nope, because I pulled the memory card. Here's something else. Here's me flying around $11 billion worth of exotics at the gig on Friday. See ya!